Arsenal F.C. Manchester United F.C. rivalry. The rivalry between Arsenal and Manchester United in English football began in the late 1990s and early 2000s, with the teams regularly competing for the Premier League title and FA Cup. The rivalry was characterized by on-field trouble, with 7 red cards shown in matches from 1997 to 2005. The Battle of Old Trafford in 2003 was marred by a melee instigated by Arsenal players. In the 2010s, the rivalry diminished due to the rise of other clubs, including Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, and Manchester City. As of May 2024, the clubs have faced each other 241 times, with United winning 99 games to Arsenal's 89 and 53 matches drawn. Wayne Rooney has scored the most goals in the fixture, while Ryan Giggs has made the highest number of appearances. History. The rivalry between Arsenal and Manchester United began in 1958 when they played in a league fixture at Highbury. The game was the last before the Munich air disaster, which claimed the lives of 8 players and left 2 injured. United won the game 5-4, with goals from Tommy Taylor, Duncan Edwards, Bobby Charlton, and Dennis Viollet. 5 of the United players who would later die in the crash took to the field in the game. Another high-profile clash occurred in the final of the FA Cup on May 12, 1979. Arsenal took a 2-0 lead in the first half, but United equalized with a goal from Sammy McIlroy. Alan Sunderland scored an 89th-minute goal to win the Cup 3-2. The rivalry began in 1987 when David Rockesall was sent off for retaliating against a foul on Norman Whiteside. In October 1990, a brawl resulted in points being docked for both clubs in the 1990-91 First Division. Arsenal and United then faced each other in the Football League Cup 4th round, with Lee Sharpe scoring a hat-trick in the win. The rivalry between Manchester United and Arsenal intensified following the arrival of Arsène Wenger in October 1996. The first meeting between the two clubs took place at United's Old Trafford Stadium on November 16, 1996, with United winning 1-0. An incident involving United goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel and Arsenal striker Ian Wright evoked memories of the 1990 brawl. The return fixture at Highbury was marred by an incident between Wright and Schmeichel, with Wright accusing Schmeichel of racially abusing him. Wenger had advised against the Premier League extending the season to ease Manchester United's fixture congestion, but Ferguson publicly retorted that he should concentrate on Ian Wright's tackles rather than Manchester United. United had won 4 of the first 5 editions of the newly branded league, and were on course to continue their domination after opening up a sizable lead in February 1998. Injuries and poor results destabilized the team, and by the time Arsenal visited Old Trafford in March, a title race was looking probable. Arsenal began the 1998-99 season with a 3-0 win over United in the Charity Shield. But losing to the champions a month later by the same scoreline was a lot less tolerable. Both clubs again vied for domestic honors, with United pipped Arsenal by a point to regain the title. They also met in the FA Cup semi-final, which was replayed after the original game ended goalless. The rivalry continued into the new millennium, but Manchester United's domestic grip tightened. They finished 18 points clear of Arsenal in 1999-2000 and completed a hat-trick of titles the following season. Ferguson announced his decision to retire at the end of the campaign, and United made an indifferent start to the league campaign. Arsenal hit their stride as the 2001-02 season came to a close, winning the double for the second time in 4 years. The championship was decided at Old Trafford in the penultimate game of the season, and United won the title back in 2002-03. A late-season encounter between the teams ended in controversial circumstances, with Phil Neville booked in the first minute for a challenge on Vieira and Ashley Cole sent off for fouling Solskjaer. In 2003-2004, the rivalry between Arsenal and Manchester United escalated when Vieira was shown a second yellow card for an altercation with striker Ruud van Nistelrooy. The FA charged 6 of Arsenal's players with improper conduct, leading to a £175,000 fine and 1-match suspensions. The next game between the two clubs was held at Highbury in March 2004, ending in a draw. Ferguson's side knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup semi-final at Villa Park the following weekend, leading to a chorus of "Where's your treble gone?" from United supporters. United went on to win the FA Cup, while Arsenal regained the title without losing a league game. They faced each other in the 2004 FA Community Shield, and Arsenal won the match 3-1. In 2004-05, Arsenal extended its unbeaten league run to 49 games, while United stood in 6th place in the table. Ferguson described Arsenal's conduct in the equivalent fixture a year ago as the worst thing I've seen in this sport. In the League Cup quarterfinals, both sides faced weakened teams, but the match was not short of drama. David Bellion gave United the lead in just 19 seconds, but tempers boiled over in the second half, with Robin van Persie's late tackle on Kieran Richardson resulting in a fracas between both sets of players. In May 2005, Arsenal and United contested the 124th FA Cup final, which was the first time in the competition's history that the final was decided by a penalty shootout. Arsenal beat United 5-4, following a goalless draw after extra time. Arsenal forward José Antonio Reyes became the second player in Cup final history to be sent off, following his second yellow card near the end of extra time. In 2005, Chelsea's rise as a title challenger ended the rivalry between Arsenal and Manchester United. The West London club won back-to-back league titles in 2004-2005 and 2005-2006 under Jose Mourinho, while Ferguson faced scrutiny over his management. Despite this, Ferguson guided his team to Premier League success in 2006-2007 and won a further 4 league titles. At Arsenal, Wenger prioritized the club's relocation to the Emirates Stadium over strengthening the squad. The 2005 FA Cup win was their last piece of silverware until 2014. The rivalry cooled, but the two clubs were still involved in engrossing battles. In 2009, the teams met in the semi-finals of the 2008-09 UEFA Champions League, which United won 4-1 on aggregate. Wenger paid his respects to Ferguson, declaring United worthy champions. In August 2011, the two teams met at Old Trafford, with United coming from behind to win 2-1. Towards the end of the game, Arsenal had a goal ruled out for offside, causing Wenger to lash out and angrily kick a water bottle before being sent off by referee Mike Dean. The incident resulted in an apology from referees chief Keith Hackett, while United chief executive David Gill raised the issue with a group of influential supporters. In August 2011, Arsenal suffered their heaviest league defeat in 84 years, as they lost 8-2 to Manchester United at Old Trafford. A year later, striker Robin van Persie joined United, signing for the club, the first Arsenal player to do so since Viv Anderson in 1987. Van Persie was instrumental in United's league win of 2012-13, Ferguson's last, and coincidentally received a guard of honor by his former teammates before facing Arsenal at the Emirates in April 2013. The appointment of Mourinho as United manager in 2016 added a new twist to the rivalry, given the previous animosity between them. Sports writer Daniel Taylor argued that Wenger's stagnation hindered any confrontations between the two managers, while former midfielder Phil Neville criticized the players for hugging in the tunnel before a league fixture in May 2017. Ferguson and Wenger. In 1996, Arsenal re-emerged as a serious league competitor after signing manager Arsène Wenger. By the end of the 1996-97 season, Manchester United won their 4th title in 5 seasons, while Arsenal finished 3rd. Wenger commented on rule changes that allowed an extension to the league calendar, which angered Ferguson, who replied that Wenger had no experience of English football and should keep his mouth shut. The relationship between Ferguson and Wenger was hostile initially, with Ferguson claiming Wenger called his players cheats and never apologized for his team's behavior. Wenger claimed Ferguson was guilty of bringing the game into disrepute and would never answer any questions about him. Both managers came under pressure from the Metropolitan Police Service, then Sports Minister Richard Caborn, and Premier League Chairman Richard Scudamore to put an end to the bickering. Ferguson said Arsenal's defeat scrambled Arsene's brain and caused their relationship to break down for almost 5 years. The two managers exchanged some of football's best and bitterest verbal swipes, with psychologists comparing their personalities. John Kramer suggested that Ferguson and Wenger used their rivalry to relax before an important match, while Wenger diffused the psychology and told his players they were all superb. A major turning point in Ferguson's relationship with Wenger occurred after the Champions League semi-final of 2009, when he invited his competitor into the dressing room and congratulated him on United's win. Wenger said their relationship had become genial since his team stopped competing with Manchester United for trophies, and Ferguson felt the team lacked a much-needed balance between attack and defense. Television and radio broadcasts. The growth of the rivalry during the 1990s attracted the attention of broadcasters and has led to fixtures being rescheduled from the 3 p.m. blackout period to primetime viewing in the United Kingdom. League matches are often broadcast on Sky Sports once as early as 11:15 a.m., while cup games have aired on mainstream channels, BBC One and ITV. At the height of the rivalry, the games on Sky had been billed as title deciders, and play was summarized by Martin Tyler and Andy Gray. The April 2003 match at Highbury, advertised as Face-Off, was seen by a British audience of 3.4 million, while the 2005 FA Cup final was watched by more than 480 million viewers worldwide. In August 1999, the two sides participated in the world's first interactive football match, and 11 years later featured in the world's first 3D TV sports broadcast, both events trialed by Sky. To commemorate the 80th anniversary of the first radio football commentary, the BBC reintroduced its grid system to help listeners visualize the action between Arsenal and Manchester United in January 2007. Musician David Gray was enlisted as guest summarizer, with John Murray describing the action and James Alexander-Gordon calling out the grid numbers to explain where the ball was. The rivalry was explored in an ITV4 special, Keane and Vieira. Best of Enemies, first broadcast in December 2013. The documentary saw the former captains discussing about their relationship, views on their respective managers, and what they thought of each other. That wraps up our look at one of the greatest rivalries in football history, Arsenal versus Manchester United. From unforgettable clashes to legendary players, this rivalry has given us countless moments to remember. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Sports Spectrum for more in-depth coverage of sports rivalries, profiles, and all things football. Let us know in the comments which Arsenal versus United match stands out the most for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next showdown.